What's going on, guys? I'm Jaye the Black. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. I want to talk about a 31-year-old single mother of 4 who lost her life after she was killed by her ex-girlfriend, the one that you see in the video here. Now, the one in the red hair, her name is Corneshia Butler, and her girlfriend with the ex-girlfriend with the shades or glasses or whatnot, her name is Shakayla Perkins. Okay, Shakayla Perkins got dumped. She got rejected. Shakayla did not like that. Corneshia had moved on, seemingly with a guy, and that really bothered her. That really bothered her to the point to where she not only took this woman's life, she took a mother from her 4 children. And one of the children was actually with Corneshia Butler when she lost her life. That's how disgusting of a person Shakayla Perkins is. Shakayla's a wannabe guy. She's a cosplayer. She tried so hard to be that masculine figure in Corneshia's life because Corneshia didn't stop dealing with dudes. I mean, I saw where, they were together and apparently Corneshia had moved on with the guy. She had moved on with a guy, and I'm pretty sure that really angered Shakayla to the point to where she took this woman's life right there in front of her youngest son, I believe. Men have to deal with rejection. Shakayla, if you want to be a guy, you have to learn to deal with rejection. And she could not take the rejection that she was getting from Corneshia, so she decided that she was going to end this woman's life. She must have known she was going to go to prison. Her and her new teeth. Because she was on her Facebook page bragging about her new teeth, only for you to now be going to prison for a very long time. Now, this story has not gone viral. On Facebook, it kind of has. This story has actually been on my desk for a couple of days. I've been speaking about the Shakayla Robinson one, and I've kind of been waiting a little bit to see if the mainstream news websites were going to speak about it. None of them are speaking about it. They're so afraid to talk about this. This was a very egregious crime. This crime was very egregious. And the fact that the media is not talking about it, I don't know if it's the optics. They don't want same gender relationships to look bad. But this was a very dysfunctional relationship. It was so dysfunctional that Corneshia just left and didn't want to do anything to do with this wannabe guy, Shakayla Perkins. Okay? Who could not walk one day in a black man's shoes. Okay? It's all fun and games, so you actually have to be a man. Right? You can cosplay, you can pretend all you want to, but it ain't the same. It really ain't. And when Shakayla got rejected, she decided that it was she had enough. She didn't like that, what she was feeling, even though us as men deal with it all the time. And the fact that no matter how much she pretended to be a man, it wasn't enough. It was never enough. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of math here. Corneshia and Shakayla were together seemingly on and off for 6 years. Corneshia Butler's 2 youngest children, I believe, are both under the age of 6. I could be wrong. I believe one of the daughters, because she has 3 daughters, and her youngest is a young boy who lost his father. So he's losing both. He lost both his parents. That doesn't matter to Shakayla. Anyway, the 2 youngest, I believe, are under the age of 6. I could be totally wrong. So it lets me know that even during the time she was dating, or Corneshia Butler was dating Shakayla, she was still dealing with men. She never gave up men. And I'm sure that pissed off Shakayla, because no matter what she pretended to be, It wasn't enough. It was never going to be enough. And I believe that drove her to do what she did. Not only the rejection part, not only the fact that Corneshia still had a love for men, and that made this. And you know what's crazy? She actually, and this is Shakayla burnt her car last year. And despite that, Corneshia got back into a relationship with Shakayla, I believe out of fear, but also because even though people are in dysfunctional relationships, they tend to get back together. You got women that take back dysfunctional men. You got men that will take back a dysfunctional woman. You ever heard the phrase, crazy chicks have the best box, or the best to have relations with, right? So that could have been the case here. I think she probably did it out of fear. And ultimately she was proven right, because this loser, this lunatic, Shakayla, went and threw her life away because she just couldn't have Corneshia. Even though you're in Atlanta, there's plenty of women there that will probably, I'm maybe, I don't know. You know, this person could be a lousy dater for all we know. That, you know, didn't want to go that route. The obsession was real. You couldn't have Corneshia, even with, you know what the crazy thing is? Even though Shakayla was with Corneshia, it still wasn't enough, because Corneshia still had a love for men, and she would always go back to them no matter what. She would always go back to men. And I think that always bothered her. That was an insecurity of Shakayla, because no matter how much she pretended to be a masculine male, tried to be, or pretended, cosplayed to pretend to be one, it was never going to be enough. And I believe once Corneshia went back to men, that's when it really drove her over the edge. Because a lot of females like her, let's be real, these studs out here pretending to be guys, you know, they couldn't walk a day in a man's shoes, especially a black man. Black men go through a lot out here. It's real out here. Ain't nobody caring about us. We don't get no privilege. They only care about us when it fits a political narrative. But other than that, we ain't got no protection. We got to protect ourselves. We got to look out for ourselves. And I don't think that Shakayla wants that type of responsibility. So when she's getting rejected, because listen, men get rejected all the time, heifer. Because I look at Shakayla as a heifer. Okay, you are a heifer. You're a woman. You're a loser, an idiot, a cosplaying wannabe male that got in your feelings because you got rejected by a woman that was still get it in with men. You were never enough. You were never enough. You were never going to be enough. And I think that really bothered you. It really did. Let's get into this. Is according to Hollywood Unlocked, because I couldn't really find any websites that was brave enough to write about this. Because same gender relationships, when these types of things happen, they don't want to talk about it. But we gonna talk about it. A mom of 4 reportedly lost her life after her ex-girlfriend decided to kill her in Atlanta, Georgia earlier this week. Shakayla Perkins, the victim's ex-girlfriend, fatally struck Corneshia Butler on Thursday. Friends and family claim Butler had a restraining order against Perkins because she burned the young mother's Mercedes-Benz last year and stalked her for months after their breakup. Perkins is also said to have been envious of Butler and committed the violent act in front of her children. I think it was the youngest one. Corneshia Butler, mother of 4, gone too soon. Her girlfriend killed her because she was trying to break things off after being in a toxic relationship for 6 years. Prayers for family. All right. Butler ended their relationship many months ago, and social media posts from acquaintances indicated the former pair had a history of domestic problems throughout the course of their 6-year partnership. Perkins published a mysterious Facebook post from the day after Butler passed away about starting again and forgetting the past. So I guess taking the life of Corneshia was her way of letting the past go, but she should have known that she wasn't going to get away with this. You have to be a dummy. Well, maybe Shakayla is very dumb. You know, Perkins was arrested and charged of first-degree murder, possession of a firearm and weapon, cruelty to children, as posted by the Fulton County Police Department. Her previous records were related to the burning of Butler's vehicle in October 2021. News of Butler's death went viral on Facebook and Twitter as users are still mourning the tragic loss of Shakayla Robinson, a young woman who died during a vacation to Cabo with a group of friends. This is the second story, because I've done those, or I've done some on Shakayla. This is the second story of black women taking the life of other black women. And the media is very silent. Well, not on Shakayla anymore, but they were very silent on this. But we gonna make some noise, all right? News of Butler's death went viral on Facebook. Oh, right through that. See? I wish the police and courts actually took the restraining orders and order protection seriously. Too many young women are being murdered over choosing themselves. Prayers to her family. Well, you know, the reason why the courts don't take it seriously is because people use restraining orders as a game. You know how many people get restraining orders as a way of pissing off somebody else or to deter them from seeing their children? They turned it into a game. Go up there, file, you know what I'm saying? And that's why they're not taking it seriously. This is why they need to actually investigate before even allowing them to get a restraining order. Does this person has a history of domestic disputes, right? Has this person been to jail? You know, do they have a history of violence? Instead of just giving out restraining orders like candy. She lives in my neighborhood. I can literally take a pic of the pink Mercedes if I look out my window. This is so sad. I seen her come home that day. I promise you guys, I don't have Facebook, so I had no idea she was in such a dispute. Not that I could have done anything. I believe they said that someone. No, I think that's another story that's similar to this. But when you're dealing with crazy people are going to find a way. That's why they're crazy. They're going to find a way to get to their objective. And the objective of Shakayla was to stop Corneshia from moving on. And you know what the interesting thing about this thing with Corneshia and Shakayla is that they had all these problems. They had this very dysfunctional relationship. And it seemed like whenever she broke up with her, she would go and deal with men. It's as if Shakayla was the one driving Corneshia to be with men. I mean, look at all the kids she got. Especially, you know, the youngest one her youngest child's father lost his life, you know? So it's almost like whenever she dealt with Shakayla, she always went back to men. And I've heard where women, they have these problems in these same gender relationships and they go right back to men. I even saw this woman on Twitter years ago. She said that she was tired of dating women and said, you know what, maybe I should go back to men. That's what she said. You know, like, you think you're going to date these women and not have problems? I mean, we're talking about Western women. Shakayla, you know, that's a Western woman. That's a Western woman who tries to be a guy, but she never will. She's a never will be. Shakayla never will be a man, no matter how much she pretends to be. And unfortunately, Corneshia lost her life. And that's who I feel the worst for, is for those children, especially the youngest boy that lost his mother and his father. And those girls, you know, they lost their mother. How was that going to affect them? All right. It's just sad. It's never had to happen. But because Shakayla couldn't take rejection, you know, you want to be a guy, but you don't know that guys get rejected all the time. We just keep it pushing. Is it the fact that no matter what you did, you were never masculine enough? You're never gonna be masculine enough. You bleed every month. There was no way that you were gonna sit there and be more masculine than any man that Corneshia ever dealt with. All right. And that was nothing she was gonna be able to do. And that's what pissed her off the most. What pissed her off the most is that no matter what she did, it was never gonna be enough. So let me know in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll see y'all next one.